This year, the internet seems to be collectively nostalgic about the mid of 2010s Tumblr era, faded Instagram filters, blurry photos, cigarettes, and that romantic of their teenage sadness. Hey, I'm Anastasia, and here I'm talking about music. And when I think about that era, the first thing that comes to my mind is music. For me, this era associates with Lana Del Rey, cigarettes, after sex, 1975, but most of all, my beloved The Neighbourhood. They were everywhere, on TV, on the internet. Even recently, one of their tracks was trending on TikTok and Instagram again. But it feels like their songs are now more famous and recognizable than the band itself. And in recent years, people have talked about The Neighbourhood more because of scandals, relationships, and hiatuses more than because of music. And that's strange because back then, it seems like they would become one of the defining bands of their generation and stay with us for many years. But why did a band that defined the vibe of generation stop defining the music of a generation? The band was formed in 2011. Early 2020, the band got together to release Female Robbery and Sweater Weather. I wonder if they suspected they were creating the biggest hit in the band's entire history. Their first studio and now iconic album, I Love You, was released in 2013 and turned them into the true global indie stars. Sweater Weather topped the music charts. You could already see the beginning of the black and white aesthetic cult. My favorite album, Wiped Out, was released in 2015. This album seemed The Neighbourhood status as the ultimate romantic, melancholic and iconics of the Tumblr era. On this record, Jesse reflected his personal experiences, including the painful emotions about his death, the loss of youthful naivety, and the process of growing up. This period marked the peak of their popularity. In 2018, the band released the album Hard to Imagine The Neighbourhood Ever Changing. For better or worse, the band changed style, and even the album cover makes it clear that a new era had begun. In 2020, it released the album Cheap Home and the Monotones, in my opinion, experimental release. And quite recently, at the end of 2025, the album Ultrasound was released, an album that came after a long silence and a major creative crisis. Critics say that the band has returned and entered a completely new major chapter. Well, sure. They're what now, about 40? How old are they? Oh my god. On the one hand, it's a good album. They're not prisoners of their own image. They keep up with the times, change and evolve. On the other hand, personally, I didn't find a single huge viral hit there. They grew up, but the audience wanted to them stay young. The biggest scandal erupted in November 2022. Maria Zerdoya, the vocalist of the well-known band The Marias, publicly accused drummer Brandon of sexual misconduct, claiming that in a bar he had touched her legs under the table. The Neighbourhood reacted immediately and released an official statement announcing Brandon's dismissal. Brandon publicly admitted responsibility, apologized, and explained that he struggled with multiple addictions, after which he entered a rehabilitation. However, in August 2025, he was welcomed back into the band, shocking the public. The musician explains that over 3 years, Brandon had done significant work on himself, overcome his addictions, and changed. Many fans criticized the band, called them hypocrites. In the fall of 2022, tabloids exploded with the news of Jesse and Billie Eilish relationships. The couple faced heavily criticism because of their age difference. They broke up in 2023 without any major scandals, but their relationship attached enormous attention. By the way, in my opinion, The Neighbourhood sounds and Billie Eilish's music share certain similarities, both sonically and in terms of vibe. It's almost if Billie continuation of the Tumblr era, but reminded in a modern form. Honestly, neither Jesse's personal life, nor the band's internal scandals explained why they seem to have dissolved into their own shadow. So what did such a successful project seem to fade away? day. And do you know what's the most surprising? The band never released a bad album. They never stopped evolving. They never got stuck in one sound. Quite the opposite. They grew up. They changed. They experimental. Tumblr died and Instagram replaced it with its perfect picture of life. Then TikTok accelerated music itself. The Neighbourhood were born for the slow consumption, reflection, and emotion immersion. Night drives, black and white filters, romance. And when the internet changed, they had to change too. And that's where the era died. When we remember the Neighbourhood, we often aren't remembering the band itself. We are remembering ourselves. Late night walks with headphones on. Conversation that lasted until dawn. Black and white photographs. An era when it felt like the whole world understood you through one song. The Neighbourhood were always a band for different times. That's why we keep coming back to them. Not because we want to hear the past, but because sometimes we want, even for a moment, to return to the person we were back then. Thank you for watching.